and just having a quick tech check. Oh, I can see there's people participating. Hooray, I think I'm live. Firstly, can you let me know if you can see and hear me okay? You should see a chat bar at the bottom. And also I'd love to know, where are you in the world? So if just tell me if you can see me. Yes, you can see me. Brilliant. And I'd love to know, where are you in the world, so I can say some hellos. So I think we've just got about a minute or so before the official start time. So great. I just wanted to get the tech piece sorted out. We've got Dubai. Hello in Dubai. Got Cornwall, UK. And great. Thank you for letting me know that you can hear me okay. Worcestershire. Fantastic. And also, can you see each other's comments, or can you just see your own comments? Sorry, I'm just doing a slightly new function here on Zoom. So you can only see your own. Okay, then I'll bear that in mind then, so you can't see each other's comments. Oh, you can see, right, I think. And hello in Scotland. Wonderful, right, lovely, great, you can see and hear me. So what I do is I'll, seems to be delay. Okay, right, yeah, don't worry too much about the other comments. Concentrate on me, and because I'll be looking at the comments from time to time, but I don't want to get distracted by the comments either. So we are live, as you can see. Sometimes you register for these webinars and they say they're going to be live, but they're not, they're pre-recorded. I can promise you this one is live. I remember once when I did a webinar, I had to answer the door to an Amazon delivery man. So that was really, really live. So I'm hoping that today's goes without interruption. I've got the dog by my feet, so she doesn't bark. And fingers crossed we go through this technical hitch free. So firstly, thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate you taking time out of your day to spend some time with me. And this is what I'm calling the Money Magnet Masterclass. Now, that term money magnet, you've probably heard it so many times before. And it seems to be that kind of elusive thing, you know, maybe you've even chanted, I am a money magnet, I'm a money magnet, saying these affirmations in front of a mirror, but you're perhaps wondering why affirmations still aren't working for you. So I'm going to be touching upon that on this webinar. We're going to be talking about affirmations, perhaps some of the things that you've done to attract money into your life. So actually, firstly, I'd love to know who's used affirmations in the past. Just press number 1 if you've used affirmations before, number 2 if you haven't. So I just want to kind of get a feel for who's used affirmations before. So good, it sounds like a lot of you are familiar with affirmations. So yeah, affirmations are extremely powerful, but I'll be going into why they may not work for you, and why, and what you can do to make affirmations work even better. So firstly, let me introduce myself. Those of you who are new or newish to me, you may have come across me either on a Facebook ad or perhaps a YouTube video, or maybe you're just scrolling on Instagram and I popped up on your feed. No matter how you found me or you've come across me, the universe has decided that we should meet. So I know it's kind of a bit of a one-way thing at the moment. So thank you. And I do really believe in universal signs, that the universe kind of takes us to where we need to be at particular times in our life. So if you're here, you're absolutely meant to be here, and you are very, very welcome. So my name's Melanie Moore, and you may have come across me before or seen the name Melanie Bundock associated with me. That used to be my name. That was actually my married name. But a couple of years ago, I decided to go back to my maiden name, my birth name, which is Melanie Moore. So sometimes this is a little bit confusing for people when they see me on old YouTube videos. Now, who's Melanie Bundock? And a lot of people think I've just got married and I've become a Moore, and that I used to be a Bundock, but it's actually the other way around, that I was married and I'm not anymore. And Moore is the name that I was born with and I wanted to go back to. So I just want to clear up the Bundock Moore confusion. I'm a life coach, and my particular speciality is to help people to tap into their big vision. And I use that tap into as both a metaphor, and that's actually a physical thing as well. A lot of you know me from my tapping videos, where we use the power of tapping, EFT, to rewire our subconscious brain, and so that we can transform not just our emotions, because that's what most people are familiar with EFT, emotional freedom technique, for, but how I like to use it is to rewire our neural pathways to have new positive beliefs, to let go of old limited thinking, letting go of old stories, but also to tap in new positive beliefs and new stories for ourselves as well. And we can both let go of the past and envision the new with visualization and tapping. So my business is called Tapping Into Your Big Vision. A lot of people also know me as a bit of a vision board expert. I've been doing vision board workshops for over 8 years now, and they started off in my own home, where I would literally bring a group of people together with a pile of magazines, and we would literally make vision boards. But at the time, I was also an EFT practitioner. Back then, my specialism was pregnancy and childbirth, helping women to, on their pregnancy journey from preconception right through to birth. So a big part of my practice was working with people one-to-one, helping people to get pregnant. I was also a reflexologist at the time, but then through their whole, the 9 month, the gestation, the whole pregnancy period as well. But on the side, I've always really been massively into personal development, law of attraction in particular. And I would do these vision board workshops on the side. So they didn't really have anything to do with my therapy practice. They almost felt like two separate parts of my business. But then it was kind of a bit of a light bulb moment one day when I had this aha moment that the two kind of go together, and this whole tapping into your big vision kind of came to me in inspiration then. And over the last, I'd say 4 to 5 years, where I kind of put the two together, I've slowly let go of the other part of my business. I don't do one-to-one EFT work, not face-to-face anymore. Most of the work I do is online, in groups, with my membership community and through my coaching programs as well. And I've really gone all into this whole concept of the law of attraction and EFT to help rewire your brain for positivity, for success, for abundance, for good health, and to help you to manifest all that your heart truly desires. Now, why money? And what's all this got to do with money and money mindset and becoming a money magnet? How does EFT and attracting abundance go together? So let's take you back slightly to the vision boarding concept, because I am a big thinker. I'm a big dreamer. I'm a Pisces. My head has always been in the clouds. And I always love to look at the bigger picture. I always love to see what's possible, not just for myself, but for other people. When I meet anyone, if you give me 5 minutes of your time, it's this weird kind of gift that I can almost see, that I can see great potential in almost everyone. Anyone who is willing to think differently, to do things differently, and to perhaps expand what's possible. If you kind of have that slight inkling for yourself, I can almost times it by 10 or even 100. I have this gift of seeing the highest human potential in almost everyone I come across. I love talking to people. I love hearing people's stories. And no matter, where you are in your life, whatever's going on right now, even if you feel we're in a really dark space, I feel that we all have unique gifts and skills and talents that we were born with, that is our bigger vision. But sadly, most people don't even go anywhere near that. They don't believe it's possible. So here's the first thing I want to talk about: beliefs. Now, a belief is just a thought that you keep thinking over and over and over again. And when you think a thought for long enough, it becomes a belief. Now, a quote that always really has stayed with me for a long time now is an Oprah quote. And I remember hearing her say once that you don't get what you wish for, you get what you believe in. And sometimes our beliefs are so stuck in our subconscious brain that we're not even aware that they're beliefs, because we've been thinking these thoughts for years. They were perhaps thoughts, they were drummed into us from our parents or grandparents. And a lot of these thoughts and beliefs are usually around the subject of money. And we may have heard our parents say things like, money doesn't grow on trees, or, as my dad used to say, do you think I'm made of money? Or here's the common one, and here's the one that I really want to bring your awareness to today. It's the use of the words, I can't afford. Now, I want you to ask yourself, how many times do you think those words? How many times do you say those words? Or perhaps even if you have children, you might say, sorry, kids, we can't afford that. They're going to come to you and say, I want the latest trainers. I want, PS5. I want this. And say, sorry, but I can't afford it. We don't have the money right now. And I certainly remember hearing my parents say that when I was growing up. I remember I desperately wanted to go to Disneyland as a child. And I said to Mum, I really want to go to Disneyland, Mum. And I remember Mum saying, I'm really sorry, but it's just too expensive. We can't afford it. And he'd be like, oh, okay, never mind. And for many years now, I've made it absolutely kind of a rule that the words I cannot afford, I can't afford, never, ever pass my lips. Now, let's talk about the current times we're in right now. Let's not escape the elephant in the room, that 2020 has been a tremendously challenging year for many, many people. It's this global pandemic that we're currently in has brought so much pain, so much suffering, so much uncertainty to so many of us. And it's a worrying time for so many people, for small business owners who many have had to fold, have had to shut up shop, particularly, if you're in lockdown areas, you may have had to close your small business. You may not be able to operate. Unemployment is higher than it's been in many, many years. And some people are lucky enough to be on furlough, but there's still that threat of potential unemployment when the furlough scheme ends. There is not only just the threat of unemployment, added to all of this is this blanket of fear that is surrounding all of us right now, this blanket of anxiety. And ultimately, it's uncertainty. Now, when we think about our safety on this planet, we think about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, the triangle about all our human needs. At the bottom is our safety. And the thing that we most associate with safety is the roof over our heads and, food in our fridge, but also the money to be able to, for us to exist in this world, not just, well, of course, to pay our bills, our mortgage, and then that's just a basic survival level. This is before we even get to the niceties and the luxuries, and for some people, thought of going out for a meal is way too much of a luxury when bills can barely be covered. So this is where the words I can't afford is, I'm hearing it more and more for people all the time now. And when we talk about the law of attraction and the vibration of, right, let's talk about the law of attraction for a minute. I just want to ask you, is everybody here familiar with the term law of attraction? Give me a number 1 if you are, and give me a number 2 if you're not. And it doesn't matter if you are or you aren't. I kind of want to do a quick explanation for the people who haven't heard of the law of attraction. I think most of you have, which I'm seeing here. So just in a nutshell, I don't want to kind of go over stuff you already know, but perhaps you might be hearing this in a slightly different way. And you may be thinking, yeah, but I'm doing the affirmations. I've made my vision board. I know what I want, but why am I still attracting this bad money situation. And the law of attraction is, very simply, it's like attracts like. And it's the vibration and the thought that we're putting out there is bringing back to us, in parallel, what we're putting out to the universe. So when we're saying things like, I can't afford, the universe says, okay, your wish is my command. You can't afford it. And it's almost like, this is why I ban people from saying the words, I can't afford, because you've closed all the doors of possibility to you when you say that statement. It's like you've slammed the doors shut to the universe by saying the words, I can't afford. Now, think about where you may not even be saying them out loud, but you may be thinking, the bills are coming through the door and there's that dread, I can't afford to pay this bill. I can't pay this bill. When the children ask for things, I can't afford that, and you may have even said to the children that, Christmas is going to be a bit leaner this year. It's going to be a little bit tighter than normal. And there are ways kind of around this. And, I'm going to give you some ways on how to reframe this phrase in a moment. But firstly, I just want you to become aware of that very, very strong signal that you're sending out to the universe when you say the words, I can't afford, when you say them, when you think them. Because what also happens, and this is the law of attraction, is when our words have energy, and this energy affects our physiological state, and it makes us feel certain emotions. So when we say words like, I can't afford, or I don't have enough money, or it literally causes anxiety in the body. It brings up feelings of fear and worry. It may even lead to sleepless nights. I've certainly been there in the past, where just the worry about money, it can literally wake you up from your bed in the middle of the night, literally in a cold sweat, because I can't pay my bill, or I can't afford it. And this then has effects on your actual physiology as well. And for me, this used to come out in things like rashes. Stress would cause skin rashes on me. And for other people, it may be stomach problems. Like, this is how stomach ulcers are formed, when you literally are producing too much acid in your stomach because your body is going into overdrive. Our emotions have such a strong impact on our physical state. Prolonged negative emotions are the root cause of, I would say, most dis-eases. Remember, that word dis-ease comes from being not at ease, dis-ease. When we're not at ease, we are in a negative emotional response pattern, which then leads us into being dis-eased, which then, left for prolonged periods of times, actually leads to symptoms, physical symptoms, conditions, rashes, the insomnia, and it can really have a toll on our health. So when we are aware of this, we can then do something about it. Now, you may be saying to me, but Mel, the fact of it is, I've got X amount of money in my bank account, therefore that is my reality. And I would say to you, yes, I do understand that and appreciate that, but there is another way. And this is kind of what I want to share on this webinar, how when we can change the way we think about money, we are then going to change the way we feel about money. And when we change our words, and when we change our focus to what we want instead of what we don't want, your life will be transformed. It will be 100% transformed. So when you say to me, what do you mean focus on what I want rather than what I don't want? What's the difference? It's very subtle, but it's also huge. So when we say the words, I can't afford, as I said earlier, we are shutting the doors to, the very thing our heart and soul desire. I can't afford my dream home. I can't afford my dream car. I can't afford Christmas presents. I can't afford the bills. I can't afford this. It's literally door after door after door of possibility is being closed to you. So the way we reframe this is by opening up the question, how can I afford this? What do I need to do to get the car of my dreams? What do I need to do to get the home of my dreams? What do I need to do to get my children the new PlayStation? How can I make these things happen? Here, you're asking a question, and when you ask this question, either out loud or journaling, or you meditate upon a question, you are sending out a very different message to the universe. So you will automatically be shifting your state from that fear, anxiety, to one of possibility and curiosity. And even being in a curious state, it's going to feel so much better than being in that closed, doors are shut, being in quite a dark hole of despair. And we can do this just through thinking differently. This is why books like Think and Grow Rich, it's all about thinking. The Science of Getting Rich, very old law of attraction classic, Wallace Wattles talks about formless stuff. This is what he uses. And this formless stuff are our thoughts. And remember what I said about a belief? A belief is just a thought we keep thinking over and over and over again. And when we change our thoughts and we focus on what we want, and to rather than what we don't want, this is when magic and miracles and all sorts of other wonderful things start happening in our life. So this is when we alter our physical state through our mental thought patterns as well. We're literally rewiring our neural pathways. Now, how we do that really, really effectively, of course, is with my favorite tool, EFT, tapping. When and we're going to do a round of tapping a little bit later on, just to help you to shift your vibration about money right now. We are literally rewiring our brain. So this is the number one secret that I want you to really kind of think about and to take on board today. And even if you want to write this down on a piece of paper, I actually have this, I'll see if I can reach it. I actually have to have this as a visual reminder for me on my desk. Even though I teach this stuff, I talk about it day in, day out, I have this as a reminder on my desk. I don't know if you can see this. It says here, focus on what you want. Oh, right, there we go. Focus on what you want, not what you don't want. Focus on what you want and not what you don't want. And I have to remind myself of this every single day. I remind myself of it constantly, because as soon as I flip my focus onto what I want, the ideas and the inspiration start flooding in. So I'll give you a really silly example of how I use this in my everyday life. So if I'm driving somewhere and trying to get the kids to school or whatever, and I see a green light ahead of me, and I want it to stay green. Very often, what we automatically program ourselves is, and this is just human nature, this is how most human beings are hardwired. We focus on what we don't want. So we may be thinking, I don't want to be late. I don't want the light to go red. Or it's like, please don't go red. Don't go red. What I have just conditioned myself to do instead is stay green, stay green, stay green. I'm on time. I'm on schedule. Traffic's flowing easily. And nearly always, I'd say pretty much always, and the times that, it stays green and I go through and it's still green, because I remember to focus my thoughts on what I want, which is to get to my destination on time, for the lights to stay green, not to be late. And how many times do we say things like, come on kids, we're going to be late, we're going to be late. I've said it myself and then I catch myself, but no, it's like, come on, hurry along so that we can get to school on time. Quick, get your shoes on, get in the car. And but it's just that little reframe. So I know it's a really silly example, but it's when we can apply that way of thinking to focus our thoughts on what we want rather than what we don't want, I promise you, magic will appear in your life. So trying to keep a check of the time, so I'm just get a sip of water. So also, if you've got any questions for me at all, I'd love you to, actually, I think somebody's already put something in the Q&A chat. If you have any questions, please do post them for me. I can see that Rita's posted a question already. I will come to this in a minute. Actually, I can see Rita's question here is about, can you give me an analogy about poor money mindset and a good money mindset? I think I'm peppering lots of these examples throughout the masterclass today. So if you've got any specific questions, do let me know. But yeah, please do post your questions in the Q&A, and I'll come to, I'll do a little Q&A session at the end. So, and sometimes, you know, particularly with the law of attraction, it can seem very, very complicated, but actually it's very simple. The difficulty comes in applying it consistently. And you know what, I'm a human being. I have days when I have a bad day and things don't go my way. But I have been doing this work for so long now that I understand there's always a lesson in what my emotions are trying to tell me. So if I'm not feeling great, I just ask myself, you know, what's my body trying to tell me right now? What is the story that's going on behind this emotion? So, you know, for example, if you've got anxiety over bills, if you've got anxiety over the holiday season and Christmas coming, or bills, or perhaps your job, ask yourself, you know, what is the narrative that's going on in your head right now? What is the story? And then that story, if it's a bad feeling that you've got going in your body, like anxiety, fear, or worry, it's probably you're focusing on what you don't want. You're focusing on something you're worried about. You're focusing on something that you don't want to happen. So when you become aware of this, and remember, practice of this law, I want to call it, then it helps you, you become easier to recognize the patterns. So I know if I'm having a bad day, sometimes maybe 2 at the most, I know it's because there's a story going in my head. I shift that story, I do tapping, and then I would never allow myself to have more than kind of 2 bad days on the trot. And then, because the longer these bad days go on, the further down the spiral you go. And this ultimately, left unchecked, can lead to things like depression and despair. And with everything that's going on in the world right now, these feelings are really, really amplified, particularly if you're in lockdown. You know, I think we're in the last week of official lockdown in the UK, but there's still talk of further lockdowns in the future. And wherever you are in the world right now, you may or may not be in some kind of lockdown situation, this pandemic. So obviously things like lockdown and this restriction on our freedoms leads to even more bad feeling thoughts. It can, you know, if you're feeling isolated or lonely, anything that you're feeling is going to be magnified so much more. So just be aware of your thoughts and your feelings and emotion. And I just want to come back to it time and time again, that the #1 secret to attracting what you want is to focus on what you want. And the #2 secret, a little kind of bonus secret, is that you've got to feel good along the way. And I'm going to share with you in a minute some of my feel good strategies, what you can do to make yourself feel better despite whatever's going on in your life right now. Because when you feel good, you are going to attract more feel good thoughts and feel good situations and feel good experiences into your life. Because let's face it, feeling good, joy, and happiness are the ultimate goals in our life. Feeling good sits above everything. Happiness sits above everything. Joy sits above everything. Because we all know that there are people, there are celebrities who have everything, have all the money, the homes, the cars, and they end up committing suicide because there is still something within them that is not feeling good. And this is the #1 secret. There are some of the poorest people in the world living in tribal communities, and have often been said that these are the happiest people in the world, and they have materially, they have very little, but they don't care because they're the happiest people on the planet. They feel really good. So the happiness and the joy is an inside job. It's something that comes from within. It's that inner peace. It starts with you. It doesn't come from external sources. That's not to say that money isn't going to make you feel better. Of course it does. Money gives us choices. Money gives us freedom. Money enables us to be generous towards others. And these are things, of course, that make us feel good. But it's kind of when we work on our internal happiness, it naturally, through the law of attraction, attracts more happy feelings into our lives. So it's kind of a bit of a circular thing. But I kind of want to say catch-22, but I mean that's kind of a bit negative. But when you are aware of the pattern that I'm not feeling good because I don't have any money, and therefore I don't have any money because I'm not feeling good, that's a pattern that you're looping. What can you do to break that pattern? Change the way you think and change the way you feel about money, and you are going to change everything in your life. So the key, lesson that I want you to, I don't have any tattoos, but if I were to have a tattoo, I would have on my wrist, focus on what you want. Focus on what you want. I'd have it tattooed as a permanent reminder. Who knows, maybe I will get it as a tattoo one day. And on the other wrist, I would get and feel good in the process. What can I do to feel good today? If I were to leave the planet today, and if I could leave any 2 sentences of wisdom on a piece of paper, it would be focus on what you want and feel good in the process of the journey to acquiring what you want. And it's not to say that you're only going to feel good when you get what you want. The important part is to feel good on the journey, because life is a journey. People have said to me, oh Mel, how have you manifested all the things off your vision board? What did you do to make all your dreams come true? And I'll say, do you know what? I feel like in many respects, I'm just getting started. There are many things on my vision board that haven't materialized yet, because do you know why? If I were to have everything I wanted tomorrow, where would be the fun in that? Where would be the lessons? Where would be the journey? The journey is the fun part. And trust me when I say, even the dark parts of the journey, even the bits that don't feel good, even through the darkest days and the despair, there is always a lesson to be learned from that journey. And and this is the beautiful journey of life, because it is a beautiful journey. So, I'm in a little kind of mastermind group with some friends, and one of the messages we had shared yesterday was that whether we know it or not, we chose this life. We chose this human experience that we've come here to live. And you may have thought, well, what on earth I wanted to choose this for? And there are certainly times in my life, certainly when going through thinking about my marriage breakup and the years leading up to my marriage breakup, I kind of often thought, well, what do I do to deserve this? Why am I so unhappy? I've been doing all this work, but why have I ultimately got a failed marriage under my belt? But now with hindsight, I can see there were so many gifts and so many lessons, and gosh, I'll have to do a whole relationships masterclass to go into that one, and perhaps I'll save that for another time. But it's to recognize that our lives are a beautiful journey. They really, really are. So so the 2 lessons are, what do I want? What is my heart desire? If you can focus on what you want and to feel good along the way. Now, how do we feel good if we're not feeling good? If we have got bills piling up, if we are telling ourselves, I don't know what to get the kids for Christmas, there are a number of things that we can do to make ourselves feel good. And the first thing is through gratitude practice. And again, if you're into personal development, you've probably heard this before. You've probably heard that, oh God, yes, I know I haven't got any, but you may be thinking, but I find it really hard to be grateful right now when I'm feeling so bad, or when money is tight, or I can't afford this, I can't afford that. Gratitude, one way you can transform the bills coming through, or is to look at the bills with gratitude, with appreciation. you know, what are the services that these bills have enabled you to do? So you get your mobile phone bill. Wow, you know, thank you so much. It's given me access to the internet. It's given me the ability to communicate with loved ones. I can send quick text messages. You get your council tax bill through. It's like, oh, then just feel the gratitude for the bin men who come and collect the bins, for the street lights, for the potholes that get, you know, filled up in the roads, for all the services that we take for granted, that we kind of in effect get for free, the infrastructure, the services that we, you know, we don't really that we take for granted. So yeah, so if we kind of just express gratitude, electricity bills, gosh, thank you for the heating, thank you for the light, thank you for all the appliances that it enables me to have in my home. And this is just one way to feel gratitude about, you know, your bills. And this, even if for a short period of time, it's going to change your vibrational state. And the idea is that if we can make this a genuine practice to have such gratitude for everything in our life, it's going to be really hard. You can't be in a state of gratitude and feel bad at the same time. So that is automatically going to lift your spirits. What else can make you feel good? Giving. And you may say, well, I don't have any money to give to charity, or, you know, or buy extra gifts for people right now. Giving doesn't necessarily have to have a monetary value. Sometimes it's just being kind. It's giving compliments to people. It's being of service. It's, you know, being helpful to, you know, if you see somebody struggling with their bags in the supermarket, with a mother with a toddler and all her shopping bags. So it's just being, you know, helpful and kind, lending a helping hand. It's asking yourself, how can I be of service? How can I be more giving today? Because when we give, the law of exchange, or the law of reciprocity, I can never say that word, reciprocity, I can't say it, reciprocating, that law, there's a word, it's not quite like reciprocating, but a bit like reciprocating, law of reciprocity, something like that. Law of exchange, I think that's a bit easier, means that when we give, we come back. It's also called the law of karma. When we do good for others, you know, good will come back to you, sometimes in its equivalent, sometimes tenfold, sometimes 100-fold. Now, just a short reminder of this, I'm in the UK, and is anybody watching I'm a Celebrity at the moment? I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. Anybody in the UK watching this at the moment? I was watching Shane Ritchie, who's one of the contestants. He's an actor here in the UK. He used to be in, I don't know if he still is, I don't watch it anymore, have quite a big role in EastEnders. Now, he's been an actor for years, you know, on stage as a performer. And I was listening to him on I'm a Celebrity, and he was sharing a story how there was a time in his acting career where he'd lost everything, his home, work had dried up, and he was about £700,000 in debt. And he just was feeling really down in the dumps. And then he got a phone call from his agent to say, EastEnders want you. They want you as the lead character, Alfie Moon, landlord of the Queen Vic. And he said he had tears of gratitude running down his face. It was just literally came at the perfect time in his life. Anyway, then he went the first day on set to EastEnders, and I think I might have missed a little bit, but the gist of the story of it is he went to the set and he met the casting director, or somebody pretty senior within EastEnders, and he then shared the story. You might not remember this, Shane, but 10 or so years ago, I was working as a junior runner on a show that you were working on, and I'd had a really bad day. Everyone's being really mean to me, and this person said, you were really, really kind to me. You gave me some really encouraging words. You were the person who was really nice to me that day, on a day I was. Now I'm not sure if he or she was a junior runner on this TV show that Shane Ritchie had worked on 10 years or so before. And that person said, I'd never forget your kindness that day. And he was now the casting director of EastEnders. And he made a cup of tea for them. That was it. I think I missed it. He made a cup of tea. Was just kind to that person who'd had a really bad day. That person never forgotten. 10 years fast forward, now the casting director for EastEnders decided to cast Shane Ritchie as a lead role. So sometimes the smallest acts of giving and kindness never go unforgotten by people, and can come. I feel a little bit emotional sharing. It's a story about Shane Ritchie. It makes me feel a bit emotional. Sometimes the smallest acts of kindness can come back to you tenfold, 100-fold, many years down the line. This is the law of karma. So this is why when we give, naturally, it just makes us feel better. And we can give in a really small, kind way, like making a cup of tea for somebody. So it's just something to think about. Another way to make you feel better is connection with other people. And sorry if you can hear weird noise in the background. It's my dog snoring. It's making really weird noises. Connection with other people. And right now, for a lot of us, it's really hard to have physical connections with people. Certainly there's no parties, there's no gatherings, and even seeing family and loved ones is not allowed for a lot of people at the moment. But that doesn't mean that we can't communicate with people via Zoom or Skype or FaceTime message. So if you are feeling a little bit down, do reach out to somebody. Go to that friend who lifts you up rather than the one that sucks the life out of you. You don't want to be ringing them. Community is always really a great way. So, even if you can find a part of an online community and there's lots of them around at the moment. And I'm going to tell you about my prosperity party in a minute. We're going to have a great community next week. These are wonderful ways to feel better immediately. So, and when we feel good, our state shifts. We shift everything immediately. Everything changes. And as I said, when we focus on what we want, coupled with feeling good, this is a magical combination where all sorts of wonderful things then start to come into your life, almost as if by magic, out of the blue, things begin appearing. So, yeah, that's quick, easy ways to feel good. Also, meditation and prayer. These are ways just to, prayer for me is the opposite of worry. Worrying is like a prayer for what you don't want. Now, I'm not going to religion, or, I don't have any strong religious views. Funny, if anything, I grew up very multi-religious. My mum is a Buddhist and raised me with a lot of Buddhist philosophies. I then married somebody who's my ex-father-in-law, was a very senior Anglican minister. We got married in a church. I went to a Catholic secondary school, Catholic high school. So, we had mass at school, and, lots of Catholic doctrines were put into me at school. So it was a very multi-religious kind of upbringing that I had. And but what I did find was that the common messages of these religions were very much the same. Do good to others and good will come back to you. But the thing that transcends a lot of these religions is prayer, the power of prayer. So I do pray. I pray every morning in my morning meditation. I, connect with source, the universe, the divine. I connect with God. I'm perfectly happy with the use of the word God. And so I do my prayers every morning. I meditate and I visualize on what I want. I usually have my vision board in front of me, and I spend some time every morning focusing on my bigger picture, my goals, my short-term goals, and my longer term, my bigger picture goals as well. I spend some time every day focusing on what my heart and soul truly desire. I'm very intentional about everything I want. And I pray. I pray during my meditation, and then I then go into a meditation as well. So so I just want to come to if you've got any questions for me, please do share the questions in the Q&A part, or the comments. I can see those as well. So it says here, we've got a question here. I'm aware of a huge resistance in me to receiving money and tend to focus on being on the state, which is what I don't want. How can I switch my focus to something I do want? So a lot of us do have resistance to receiving. And, this comes up in my membership community quite a lot. People struggle to receive things. And I've seen many people in my life. Sometimes if I go out for lunch, or I offer to pay the bill, I'm like, no, I can't possibly do that. And you end up having a little bit of an argument. or I go to pay somebody a bit extra for their services, or and then they're literally turning me down, saying no. And I said, please just take it, just say thank you. So I would practice with small acts of receiving. I would ask for help. A lot of people who struggle with receiving also struggle with asking for help. And that doesn't mean necessarily just for money. It means, and for a long time as a single parent, I would struggle with receiving. I would be doing everything by myself. But sometimes it would just take me to ask them and said, look, would you mind doing a lift share with me today? Would you be able to pick up the children for me today? And just allowing somebody to help you puts you in the place of being the receiver. So I would start with, if you find it really, really difficult to receive, I would just ask, I'd do small acts that will open you up to being in a position where you have to receive. When you ask for something, it's like, ask and you shall receive. And the very act of manifestation is asking, but in a much bigger way. And many of us are very limited in asking for the things we want, because ultimately it boils down to a feeling of not being worthy and deserving. So, I do have tapping videos for all of these. I'm just thinking now, but this is way more than I can go into in our time together. So if you're resistant to receiving, I would start asking for help, start asking for things in a small way and start building up to it. So a few of you said here, struggling with receiving. So very, very small acts, baby steps. Just ask yourself, what would you like, and just ask for it. And maybe start journaling the things that you want in a journal. So another exercise I do with my membership community is start writing a list of all the things you want, big and small, and revisit this list morning and night. And this can be for anything: material objects, new kitchen, new car. It could be, things for your health, things for your well-being, a personal trainer, weekly manicures, whatever. Most of us do not ask for enough because we limit ourselves with what we think is possible and what we think we deserve. Now, I'm here to tell you today that everything is available to you. It's all available. This is such an unlimited, abundant universe that we live in. And the only thing that's stopping you from receiving more of what you want is because you're not asking enough of God, the universe, anyone. And the more we ask and the more we practice asking, and maybe you might want to start small first, ask for that parking space, ask for a certain amount of money, and you may be uncomfortable with asking for a lottery win. The thing is, your belief of having a lottery win is probably going to be pretty low right now. So ask with just what you feel is believable right now. So if you've got any more questions, keep them coming in. But I just want to share with you quickly about the prosperity party. I can see a few names of people who are here. Some of you are coming to the party already. If you are coming to the party, put number 1, just say yes, you're coming, and just let me know you're here. So Philippa's coming, Emma's coming, Jilly's coming, Katya's coming. Wonderful. So those of you who don't know about the party, or perhaps you've heard me talk about it and wondering, what is this party all about? How does this all tie in? How is this going to help? So the prosperity party that I'm doing is starting on Monday, this coming Monday, the 30th. And on this party, which I've been doing for 4 years now, I'm setting the intention that everybody who comes in is going to manifest £500 or dollars, or whatever currency you're in, but let's say £500. I think £500 is actually more than $500, whether that's Australian dollars or American dollars. £500 is a decent amount of money. It could be enough to pay for all your children's Christmas presents or your grandchildren's Christmas presents. It could be enough to have a really amazing Christmas feast for your family. A really good feast of £500. £500 to me represents a significant amount of money that's enough to make a difference, a positive difference in your life, but it's not so much that it's so unbelievable. It's like a lottery win. It's not a life-changing amount of money, but it's a nice amount of money. And so we're going to, so that's the intention for everybody, that you are going to manifest a minimum of £500. Now, some people come in and say, actually, I want to manifest more than that. I want 1,000. I want 2,000. If you want to come in and set your own particular target for 5 days, please, by all means, do so. The amount should be enough to stretch you a little bit, but beyond, but still within the realms of possibility. So that's the only kind of rule that I would put upon the amount of money you manifest. If you want to come and say, I want to manifest 1 million, I'd be like, you know, you might want to, if you believe that's possible, then yeah, you will get what you believe in. And I would take you through 5 days of exercises, touching on all the things we've mentioned, including the gratitude practice, the giving practice, the community element is going to be there as well. And plus there's going to be a couple of extra exercises which are practical, fun, and which will have instant rewards, you know, in these 2 exercises, which, you know, I'm going to keep a little element of surprise. Those of you who didn't do the party before, please don't spoil the surprise. Where, and these 2 other exercises, people have literally money showing up out of the blue. There is also the abundance prayer that I've created especially for the event. And there is also a daily tapping video. There's also going to be a brand new element this year, a brand new abundance meditation, which even if you've done the party in the past, you won't have had that before, because it's a brand new component, which will be landing on Monday. And so these are all the things I've talked about today. There is the international community. Already in the group, we've got people from United States, plenty from the UK and Ireland, Europe, Australia, Asia. We've got people in India, Pakistan, all over the world. We've got people. And every year I do this, my mind is blown by the community that's formed. Somebody who actually came to the group this week actually said, you know, it's my 2nd or 3rd time doing the party, and I'm still in touch with people from last year's party. You could meet a lifelong friend in this group. This is why online connections are so powerful, and particularly, you know, the times we're in during lockdown, it's very easy to feel isolated and cut off from the world, but you'll be amazed at how quickly connections can be formed, even within a Facebook group. So, so yeah, I do have this gift of creating incredible communities. And so yeah, so gratitude, giving, community, connection with others, meditation and prayer are all going to be part of this party. It's just £5 to join the party. And let me just quickly share a link with you here. Sorry, bear with me. I really struggle with doing 2 things at once. Let me see. There we go. Can you all see that link here? melaniemore.co.uk/prosperity-party. That is the link to join the party. We start on Monday, but come and join the Facebook group today, because you'll get access to an instant tapping video, which will start opening you up to attracting money out of the blue. Now, I've had a few people already in this group. Party hasn't even started yet. One lady has manifested £15,000 in funding that she wasn't expecting at all, literally never tapped before. Somebody else had manifested $200 within a few hours of joining the party. There's been lots of little bits here and there, 30, 40, a couple of lottery wins, little lottery wins. But the people who are in there are sharing their wins and successes already, and we haven't even started yet. So just by being in the energy of group, and things are going to start to warm up the weekend. And I'm actually going to do a little Sunday pre-party kind of an orientation session about what to expect from the party as well. So it's be like a pre-party get together. We start on Monday, and how it works is that when you sign up to the link, you are going to start to get email notifications on Monday with each lesson. So there are some people saying, do I have to be on Facebook to do this? No, you don't. You absolutely don't. I think your experience will be enhanced if you are on Facebook, so you can join the community element. Some people don't really want that, and they're quite happy just to do the lessons on their own. You'll get the lessons sent to you on email every day. I think they go at 6 a.m. UK time. So depending on where you are in the world, you're either going to get them really late at night in the US or later in the day if you're in Asia and Australia. the lessons will also go into the Facebook group, probably the night before, so that you get them in advance. And each day is a little exercise. It's going to take you between 50 to 30 minutes. Some days a little bit more, some days a little bit less. And I just want you to schedule that time in your diaries, that you're going to make time to every day to do this thing, and maybe a few minutes extra to kind of communicate and to engage within the group as well. So yeah, that's the what the party entails. And what you're also going to be left with is a complete mini course that you can access at any time. So you can redo the principles of the party over and over again. So a lot of people join this party and they message me to say, I still do the daily tapping now. I still do your abundance prayer. I still remember the exercises, and I make this a part of my life now. So, and these messages fill me up with joy. During the party, I'll be opening up the doors to my membership, and obviously there's no obligation to join whatsoever. And I'm, that's just an additional way to work with me. And I'll be telling you more about the vision board day we've got coming up in January. But really, my intention is just one, for you to come and experience what it's like to be part of one of my communities, to be introduced or to strengthen your tapping practice, to strengthen your spiritual practices, to be reminded of these lessons. It's one thing, to hear about these things in a masterclass like today. And, I hope that you've got value just from today, just to bring awareness to your dominant thoughts and your belief patterns. And I haven't forgotten, I am going to end with a round of tapping in a moment. So do stay with me till the end. We'll be doing a round of tapping just to really uplift you even more. And I want you to eliminate those words, I can't afford, from your vocabulary. Almost like, it's like, commit to yourself. I'm never going to say those words ever again. The moment I think those words, I can't afford, I'm going to ask myself the question, how can I make this happen? I'm going to end with a really quick manifestation story that many of you have heard before. And then I'm going to end with a round of tapping. So the link is in the comments there. I will post it again in case it's been buried. melaniemore.co.uk/prosperity-party. So I'm going to end with a little story for you now. So I think I mentioned earlier on in this masterclass, when I was a little girl, I really, really wanted to go to Disneyland. And my mum and dad would say to me, I can't afford it. So, fast forward 30 odd years. At the time, my daughter was 8 years old, and she would say to me, Mum, I really, really want to go to Disneyland. And the truth was, I couldn't actually afford it. But I was never going to say those words to her. So what I actually said to her was, even though I don't know when we're going to go, I promise you one day we will go. I don't know when we're going to go yet, but I promise you one day we will go. And so it kind of got me off the hook a bit. And I didn't know whether it was going to be a year from then or 5 years from then or whenever. I knew that one day I would take my children to Disneyland, and myself, because I really wanted to go. And what then happened was I became obsessed with the idea of going to Disneyland. I would tell my children, I tell my daughter especially, to visualize going, to imagine being there. She made a vision board. I don't have it to hand right now. I think a lot of you have seen my Disney vision board. And then I asked myself the question. I didn't ever say I can't afford it. I would say, what can I do to make this happen? What do I need to do to get my kids to Disneyland? Now, at the time, it was, of course, through money. And I said to myself, I have to make X amount of money in my business. And my plan was to make a certain amount of money in my business so that on Christmas Day, I'd book the ticket and I'd say, kids, we're going to Disneyland. Anyway, the time was coming by, it wasn't happening. And I was still kind of really quite fixated on, gosh, I really want to go to Disneyland. What can I do to make this happen? And as Christmas was approaching, I let it go. I simply just let it go. I stopped thinking about it. And, I'll be going into this letting go story more some point during the prosperity party, but I let it go. I stopped thinking about it, because sometimes we can become a bit too obsessed with what we want. There is the lesson of detachment as well. That's a whole nother lesson itself. I let go. I detached myself from the outcome. And what then happened was on the 4th of January, this is 2016 now, 4th of January 2016, I got a phone call from Disney head office to tell me that I'd won a trip to Disneyland, Florida, with all my flights, accommodation, Disney passes, everything. And how I'd won that was through a competition, through Clark's shoe shop. I'd bought a pair of shoes for my school shoes, and there was a little contest. I filled in the competition entry, posted it in the little box, didn't think about it. And that's how Disneyland came to me. When we focus on what we want, the universe will find a way of delivering it to you. And it may be through money, it may not be through money. I'm going to be talking about this more in a prosperity party. But this is, I love sharing this story because I focused ultimately on what I wanted, but I did get a little bit sidetracked with, I need to make this money in my business. But it actually came to me through another channel, it came to me through other sources. So I just wanted to add that story in, is when we focus on what we want, sometimes the universe brings it to you through other ways. So yes, the purpose of this, and there's nothing wrong manifesting money as well. I'll be sharing more money manifesting stories at the prosperity party, but always think about what you want the money for and focus on the end goal as well. So that's really, really important. So right now I want to, so Lisa said, I want 50K. Absolutely. What do you want the 50K for, Lisa, though? I want to ask you the question. What are you going to do with 50K? Get super specific. Write down your shopping list. What do you want the £50,000 for? Is it home renovations? Is it, a holiday? What do you want the money for? And again, when you join the prosperity party, what do you want the £500 for? What are you going to do with that money? So let's have a look. How can I change I can't wait into a positive statement? I can't wait. I can't wait. Okay, how to change positive static? I'm really looking forward to the prosperity party, and I'm going to let go of my impatience, and I'm going to think of something really fun I can do today. So impatience is something you want to let go of as well. So let's end with a quick round of tapping to help you to feel good about money. And I'm going to tap into the universal truth, which you may or may not feel to be true, is that money and abundance is everywhere. Abundance is everywhere. And we're going to open up all channels of abundance. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to go straight into a positive round. We're going to clear some old beliefs that you may have. And I'm going to just pick some collective beliefs that I know that most of us have. So just have a quick sip of water. Oh, what have I done here? Sorry, I just clicked something. You disappeared. Oh, I thought I ended the broadcast for a minute. Are you all still there? Just checking. Right, here we go. I think we're all still here. So we are, I want you to firstly, right now, I'm going to do a little bit of audience participation. Right now, I just want to ask you, and you might be feeling a little bit more uplifted and a bit more inspired just through listening to this broadcast, but I want to ask you generally, what is your general relationship with money like? What are your kind of primary thoughts and feelings about money? And I want you to be really honest here, and I'm not going to say any names or anything. What are your general feelings around money? And these could be things like worry or anxiety, and some of you, you might not necessarily want to share these, but which is fine. So I'm going to maybe not necessarily focus on what you maybe feel, because right now I'm so somebody said here, I don't like spending money. Okay, now that is very common with a lot of people, and that's very, I would call coupon clipping mentality as well, when we focus more on saving money rather than attracting more money. So and it's a very much of a lack mentality, and that's no reflection, there's no judgment there at all. Just by saying the words I don't like spending money means that there's subconscious belief that it's going to run out, it's going to not come back. the thing is, that is not the truth of money. Money is energy, and it circulates like currency. The word currency comes from the word current, and current is a circulation, because it's like breathing. There has to be an exchange. It comes in, it goes out, you spend it, and it comes back. You spend it and it comes back. But if your belief is that spending it is coming from a finite pot, then that is what your belief. So this round of tapping is going to really help you know that there is an infinite supply just waiting for you, and to tap into that universal cycle. This is it. Another here, guilt about receiving and also losing money. Okay, again, that comes from the belief that there's not enough. Another here, I always feel I don't have enough and afraid to go near savings and panic when I do, and I know it's negative. I can't break the pattern. Okay, so I would change that to, even though I believe that I can't break the pattern, I'm willing to change, and changes come easily in my life, because we are all so capable of change, but change is scary, change is the unknown, and change is hard, which is why I think the prosperity party will probably really benefit you, because it's going to really amplify what I've shared here today, but you're going to be putting it into actual practice as well, because it's all very well theorizing and hypothesizing about something, but it's when we actually do the doing and put the principles into practice is when we get the results in our life. So yeah, worried, anxious, keeps me awake at night. Yeah, I totally get it. So we are going to tap into the belief that money is everywhere. Money is energy, and there is always more than enough for me. So that's what we're going to do. So take a nice deep breath and just acknowledge how you're feeling right now. And we're going to tap. Here we go. Even though I have this belief that money is a finite source, that there is only a limited amount available to me, I choose to deeply and completely love and accept myself anyway. Even though I've always been told I have to save my money, and maybe I don't even like parting with it, because I'm worried that there's only a finite amount. I choose to deeply and completely love and honor myself anyway. Even though I'm aware that I have lots of negative beliefs about money, and maybe this came from my parents or my grandparents or from society in general, that there's not enough, that it's going to run out. I choose to recognize that this is just a belief. This is just a story. And I'm ready to let it go now. And I choose to deeply and completely love, honor, and forgive myself and anybody else who may have contributed to this story. All these negative thoughts about money, all these negative beliefs about money, and all these stories about money that I've had all my life. This story of not enough, this story of lack, this story that there's just not enough. I choose to recognize it's just a story. And I'm ready to let it go now. I'm clearing it away now. I'm releasing this story. Letting go of the belief that there is not enough. Letting go of the belief that it's a finite resource. Letting go of the belief that it's going to run out. And I'm clearing this all the way through my past. I'm clearing this all the way down my ancestral line. I'm clearing this all the way back to the very root. I'm letting it go now. I'm clearing it away now. And I'm ready to tell myself a new story, a new belief that this is an abundant universe, that abundance is everywhere, that oceans of avalanche surround me right now, and I've just been blocking them. So I'm clearing away all these blocks to abundance. Because the truth is, there is an unlimited supply available to me right now. Just like air, it's all around me. And I am ready to let it in. I'm allowing abundance into my life. I'm allowing prosperity into my life. And I'm only going to allow myself to think prosperous and abundant thoughts. And I'm going to really pay attention to my emotions and the way I'm feeling. I choose to feel good about money. I choose to have a really good relationship with money. And I choose to transform the way I think and feel about money. I'm feeling better and better. Feeling really good. Feeling excited about where it could come from. And I'm allowing myself to receive, knowing that I'm worthy and deserving of all the abundance the universe has available. And I'm just as worthy and deserving as everyone else on this planet. And I'm opening up all the doors of abundance. All the channels of abundance are available to me. All financial doors are opening for me right now. And I'm feeling really good about this. One last round. I'm allowing myself to receive, clearing away any remaining doubts and resistance. Feeling really good about this. Feeling better and better. More and more hopeful. Maybe even excited. I choose to feel really good about money in body, mind, and spirit. Now take a nice deep breath in and exhale. Okay, I'd love to know in the comments, how are you feeling after that round of tapping? Have you felt a shift in your vibration? Are you feeling more positive, more calmer, hopeful, expectation, love, fabulous, brilliant, calm, re-energized, really excited, smiling and hopeful, excited, joyful, brilliant. Oh, love it. A lot of intense emotion, but now calm, brilliant. And you see, money is such an emotive topic, and when we just fixate on what we don't have, we're gonna get ourselves into a bit of a state about it. But when, you know, just 5 minutes of tapping can really uplift your vibration, and along with those practices I shared, gratitude, giving, you know, coming together as a community, human connection, meditation, prayer, join all these things up, and you're not gonna have time to feel bad about money. And what you're saying to the universe is a big fat yes. I'm available for all the goodness you have to offer. Show me. It's literally show me the money, show me but not just the money, show me the opportunities, show me the connections, show me the possibilities, show me the inspiration. Because the abundance can come to you in so many guises. Sometimes, many and often in the prosperity party, it comes as physical cash in your hand. But some people, they get an idea, and like a wow, an aha moment, suddenly like, I'm going to do this. And then that may lead to millions that could come to you in the future. So, but that will only happen when you're in a good vibrational state. So that's what the prosperity party is designed to do, to bring prosperity your way, either in the form of cold hard cash, or inspiration and opportunities and all sorts of mystical, mysterious things that the universe may have in store for you. So come along to the party and find out for yourself, you know, what it's all about. We start this Monday, and if you're on Facebook, you know, I've just popped the link there for you in the comments. It's melaniemore.co.uk/prosperity-party. If you find me on social media, Facebook, Instagram at I am Melanie Moore, it won't be far till you find a link to the prosperity party. And Jilly says, I drew a moon card yesterday, it was prosperity lies ahead. It sure does. Prosperity party lies ahead. So yeah, I'm really excited to see as many of you as possible. And if you know of anybody who could do with some uplifting, you know, goodness in their lives, send them the link. You know, sharing is caring, and I bet you can think of somebody who could really benefit from some prosperous thinking in their lives. And you know, the more the merrier. I'd love to welcome you, because I really believe all this work ripples out. The more we feel good, the more we're going to send ripple effects of feeling good out to our family, our friends, our community. They're going to feel better, and you just do not know how many people you're going to impact just by you raising your vibration. You may never know the impact of the good you'll do in this world just by you feeling good. That's all we want, isn't it? To feel good. And I guarantee, you know, if you come to the party and you participate, you're going to feel amazing. So I hope to see as many of you there as possible, and really excited to, you know, to have best party ever. So have a wonderful day, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate your time. We'll run a little bit over, but I hope you found it of value. Take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.